I am getting ready for my trip to China, so I thought that I would pull together a quick little discussion while I'm packing my stuff and kind of give you some insights on some of the stuff that I've been seeing going on with the stock market. As you know, many of you may know, the stock market just took a big dip today, and a lot of people are panicking. I think they said it's the third worst or third biggest drop in points, in total points, ever. And now that's always a little bit of a mixed bag because the declines are not, it's more about percentage declines than it is about, absolute numbers. But it doesn't mean that, it can't be bad. It doesn't mean that it's not something to worry about. And yeah, you're absolutely right. That's funny you mentioned, thank you, 81st or B first, for telling me that. I forgot about that. But yeah, you're absolutely 100% correct. I have said repeatedly that the stock market is going to crash. I've done videos on this. Now, the reason that I said it's going to crash is because a lot of people don't tell you this, but the stock market crashes all the time. The stock market crashes on a regular basis. These are what they call market corrections. Well, now, in case you guys don't know me, I mean, y'all may just know me as a loudmouth black man on YouTube. Some of you may have just subscribed to my channel, but I have a PhD in finance. I've taught finance at the college level since I was 22 years old. I taught my first class on finance at Indiana University when I was 22, and since that time I've taught at University of Kentucky, Ohio State University, the University of Rochester, Syracuse University. I also taught in China, where I'm actually visiting tomorrow, and so this is my thing. This is one of the things I know. So I'm pretty comfortable, when people question what I say and challenge it, and if they tell me, "Oh, you're stupid, you're crazy, you're wrong," nah, I don't listen to that stuff. It doesn't mean I can't be wrong. Everybody's wrong at some point, I'm sure, but it just means I'm very comfortable with my knowledge base. And now y'all got to forgive me for all the movement. The reason for all the movement is because I literally am packing for China as I talk to you. But a lot of people have been asking me about this market crash and had been sort of wondering, what should I think? What should I do? Stuff like that. How do we handle this? First thing I'm going to tell you is that I'm not going to tell you what to do because I am not here to give you investment advice. That's important to state for legal purposes. I am not your investment advisor. Now, what I can do is give you perspective so you can kind of think about how you want to respond. Now, here's the thing. The stock market has a correction. It has many corrections. Corrections are almost like thunderstorms, right? I live in the Midwest. We live in Tornado Alley, where there's a lot of tornadoes that come through, a lot of bad weather. Now, here's the thing about it, right? Thunderstorms happen all the time. There's always some sort of storm occurring somewhere. But the thing about a storm is that most storms are not a big deal. Most storms come and they go, and then the sun's back out. But every now and then, you have, a tornado, right? Or you have a hurricane, and so every time there's a thunderstorm, you have to, especially if you live in Tornado Alley, you have to wonder, okay, I think it's just raining. It's no big deal. No reason to panic. But you got to always kind of keep one eye open in case that tornado has just arrived. So the thing is, when it comes to this market correction, which is what it is, a correction is, basically when the market kind of sobers up. Think about it like people, they go out and get drunk. They go out and get drunk and they have a wild night of partying. And then the next day they sober up and they clean up the mess and, they try to figure out how they're going to get out of jail. They try to get themselves out of trouble, for whatever they did the night before. The market's the same way. Sometimes the stock market gets a little bit drunk and you have to make a correction. And that's when you basically determine that maybe the market itself has decided, we kind of let things get carried away and we let the prices get a little too high. Now it's time for a correction. Now, typically, the correction is driven by some sort of action or information or something about the economy. So in this case, it was interest rates. Interest rates for long-term bonds started going up, which for various reasons causes stock prices to go down. I cover more of this. I have numerous lectures on this actually in the Black Stock Market program. If you want to check out my class, feel free. You can get the first 30 days for nothing. It's totally free for you. And you can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. And I'm going to actually put together a presentation to kind of break it all down, depending on how it works, depending on how this thing plays out. People respond to market corrections in different ways. Some people do what I never do, which is they start selling, they start freaking out and doing what they call a sell-off. Now, in this case, some people think a sell-off might be called for because here's the thing. This correction is occurring on the tail end of a very, very long market rally. A lot of people have been distracted, who's in the White House, Barack Obama or Donald Trump. I never cared about any of that. That stuff doesn't matter to me because that doesn't change my life. What I've been paying attention to is building wealth for my family. And one of the things that I've observed is that no matter who is in the White House, whether it's Trump, Obama, or anybody else, they always, you hear me, always take care of the stock market. If the stock market crashes, that becomes the number one item on the president's desk the next morning. They do not allow the stock market to go down too far before they start doing every single thing they can to keep prices elevated. A lot of prices are driven, sometimes it's just driven by fundamentals, like, interest rates and things that actually matter. And sometimes the market's, elevation or lack thereof is driven by what they call sentiment, which is just how people feel. It doesn't matter how valuable something is. If people don't believe that it's valuable, then it will have no value, right? It's kind of almost like self-esteem, right? They tell you if you don't believe you're valuable, then you're not. Well, it's kind of the same way with the stock market. If people who are invested in the market get too fearful or too, they lose their optimism, then prices will drop just because people feel that the market should be worth less than what it is, and so right now, basically, they have these different indexes that are designed to sort of measure market psychology. That was my area of expertise was basically investor psychology. And one of the things that they measure is what they call the fear and greed index. And so they basically try to see, okay, how fearful is the market? How greedy is the market? See, greedy people, they go for more. They want to buy more. They'll push the prices up. Prices go up because everybody's like, I want to buy because I'm going to make a killing because I think everything's going to be great and I have a lot of confidence. In order to be greedy, you pretty much have to have a belief that the market is going to keep on doing well and that everything's going to keep on keeping on and that your money's going to keep stacking to the ceiling and you can just move forward. Now, when you get fearful, you do the opposite. You kind of restrict your investing, right? You back up. Like, think about it. If you feel confident and about your job, like you think you're going to have your job and you're going to get a raise and a promotion, then you'll go out and you'll buy stuff. You'll buy new cars, you'll buy a new refrigerator, whatever it is, because you know that the money's coming. But if you get fearful, like you don't think the money's coming, or you have a reason to believe that your economic prospects are dim, then what do? You do the opposite. You hold back. You hold back in fear, right? It's just like love. People that are fearful have a hard time finding love because they don't take any chances, right? So, to love somebody requires vulnerability. Vulnerability only occurs when you feel comfortable taking that risk. If you do not feel comfortable taking that risk, you do not allow yourself to be vulnerable. So the same factors that drive economic growth are actually related to the factors that drive Black love. Like literally, like the reason Black people have a harder time loving each other is because we have a harder time trusting each other because we are afraid of each other, right? So economic love is driven by the same factors. When businesses don't trust that consumers are going to have their back and purchase their products, then they stop making investments because they're afraid that they're going to run out of money. When banks don't have trust that companies are going to be able to repay their loans because they're afraid, then they stop loaning money. When consumers don't have trust that the corporations they're buying from are going to give them good jobs, then they stop spending because they're afraid, they want to hold on to their money. So what happens is when everybody's holding back, then nothing happens. Partnerships don't build, purchases don't occur, investments don't happen, the whole economy stalls. So, in fact, when we talk about buying black, one of the things that I've explained to black people is that, black people will not ever be able to truly buy from each other until we learn to truly love each other. Love each other until we learn to trust each other. Because the only time you take risks is when you have love and trust at the same time. So, with that said, right now, what you're seeing with the market is you're seeing kind of a deficit of trust. You're seeing a lot of people that felt very good about what the market was doing up until this point, and now they're sort of looking back and saying, "Oh my God, it's about to crash." So everybody starts selling and getting rid of their stocks. So nobody wants to be the last sucker. So one person sees other people selling, so maybe they then go sell, and everybody's trying to get out, and they're trying to take back their profits. Historically, I can't tell you how this is going to play out. Nobody really can. Nobody can tell you what the future holds. Anybody out here, any financial experts who tell you that they know exactly what a certain stock is going to do, you just run, because they're lying to you. They're just feeding you a bunch of stuff that's going to make you, pay them $10,000 for their investment analysis or whatever, because that's just not how it works. Nobody can predict the future. But you can look at the past. So a lot of insight can be gained from the past. I've analyzed a lot of the data from the past, and basically what I've seen in the past is that 99 times out of 100, the market declines, aka market corrections, they typically tend to be they turn into what some would define as buying opportunities, meaning that you buy low, you sell high. When a lot of people are running, you jump in and you buy. At least that's what I do. I buy on what they call I'm sort of what they call a maybe a contrarian investor, or a what's another word I would use? Value investor. Warren Buffett's a value investor, and so people like Warren Buffett, they tend to buy during times like this. So if you want to know what I'm doing, I'm not going to tell you what to do, because I'm not here to give you any investment advice. That's not what I'm doing. I'm going to buy. I went in when I saw what was going on with the stock market. I was like, okay, all those stocks I've been wanting, they're kind of cheap now. So let me go ahead and buy. Now, here's the thing, though. I could have bought, at a bad time. It may turn out that this decline is just the beginning. It may turn out that, that this could be worse. Remember, I told you, every thunderstorm could actually be a tornado. So I don't know for sure if this is a temporary decline. I just know that, based on the past, these declines usually last for a while, and then they have what they call reversals. Reversals are basically when the market kind of overreacts. Like they call this like the overreaction effect in stocks. It's kind of like where everybody panics, everybody freaks out, everything's getting sold, prices drop. Then the next day, everybody's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Okay, maybe the world isn't coming to an end. So then they start going back in, they start buying again, and the prices start creeping back up. So it's not that uncommon. It's not that uncommon. I'm not telling you what's going to happen now, but it's not that uncommon that the day after or the week after you have massive declines, that you have a massive increase where everything goes back to normal. You see, so basically, I bought some options, I bought some, some shares, and I was like, all right, well, let's just see. I'm gonna just buy this and see what happens. And I could be a sucker, but it may work out. And I buy lots of different stuff. I don't buy one particular stock. If you ever ask me, just so you know, if you join my class and you ever ask me what's a good stock to buy, I'm never going to answer that question. I will never ever say, oh, go buy this stock. This is the secret stock that's going to change your life. Wealth don't happen like that. People don't get wealthy that way. People don't sort of get lucky and pick one great stock. They invest consistently. Investing is supposed to be a part of your long-term family culture. It's not supposed to be some sort of like hit it and quit it, get rich quick. I played the stock market like I rolled number 7 on the craps table. That ain't how investing works. Investing does not work that way, and that's not the mindset you should have. You're not a gambler, you are a wealth builder. Wealth builders
only take risks when they know that there's a good chance that the risk is going to work out. A wealth builder, I don't play with my money. I'm not gambling with my money. I strategically invest my money over a long period of time with full knowledge that some of the investments that I make are going to work out, some are not. And at the end of the day, if I make more than I lose, then it's great. And the other thing too is that when you're trying to really make big money, in investing and in business, you're gonna have to be ready to lose big money too. Anybody who freaks out and gets scared to death and stops everything because they lost some money doesn't need to invest. I mean, because you're kind of too much of a wimp to ever really get any kind of wealth because you run away every time things get hard. It's almost like somebody who gets married and they want to get a divorce because the person burned the oatmeal. Like you can't do that. When you get married, you're supposed to really be in it, and you go in it knowing that there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be good days and bad days. And so investing is kind of the same way. And when I talk about investing, I talk about it from a lot of perspectives. I'm talking about business ownership. That involves lots of wins, lots of big wins, lots of big losses. Stock market participation involves lots of big wins, lots of big losses. Real estate, lots of big wins, lots of big losses. So people who tend to win big are people who are not afraid to lose big. So you got to kind of decide how you want to play the game. Small thinking gives you small wins and small losses. You ain't gonna lose much, but you ain't gonna make much. You won't get a chance to, roll with the big dog, so to speak. So I'm not a person that believes in thinking small. Most of what I've done in my life that's allowed me to separate myself from, some of those lame ass people I used to work with is that I wasn't scared. I accepted the fear. I accepted the fact that what I was doing could easily fail. And I wasn't ashamed of that. I didn't look at it like, oh my God, if I fail, that means that I was wrong. That means I'm not worthy. I didn't see it like that. Don't internalize failure like that. You can't do that. You just see it as like an NBA player. Okay, we didn't win that night. We didn't play well, but we're still a good team. That's what you do. So investing is kind of the same way. So anyway, for those of you who are asking earlier about where my stock market class is and what the URL is, it's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. You can get the first month free if you go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. I'm trying to pack all my stuff and get ready for this trip. So I'm gonna see you guys soon, and I'll hit you up. I'm going to China tomorrow, and I will hit you up along the way and tell you if the Chinese people are still speaking Chinese. So see y'all later. Have a good night. Well, let me answer a couple of your questions, and let me see here. But expect gains from your personal choice strategy. Bye bye driving me crazy. Okay, I don't know who bye bye is. Did the stock market crash, or is it about to crash? It was a big drop. Some people would call it a crash. I don't know if there's a technical definition of what a crash is. Baller Boyce. No, I'm not no baller, but I did work hard for what I have, so that's true. Let me see. It might be too early to get in. The business managers are starting to see the effects from Trump's trade disruptions, so worse days might be ahead. Nah, I think Trump is just as good for the stock market as Obama was. Probably better because Trump is very pro-business. I think that a lot of the stuff you get fed in the media is bullshit, because there are people that either decide in advance that they like Trump or don't like him. So everybody's lying to you. I try to just focus on, what I define to be the facts. So I don't really care how I feel about Donald Trump. I don't really care how Donald Trump feels about me. I never really thought much about whether or not he was a racist. I just assume all of them. Honestly, I'm a pessimist. I pretty much assume all white people don't like me or that I'm going to make them uncomfortable. I don't assume that there are some good white people who might like me and some who don't. No, I assume I make them all nervous because I'm not behaving in a stereotypical way. I'm smarter than you. I compete better than you. I can do things better than you. So I pretty much define that to mean that a lot of white people probably would see me as some sort of a threat. So I don't really, I just cannot, I can't participate in emotionality surrounding whether or not Donald Trump likes black people. Who gives a fuck if he likes you, man? Seriously, are you that in that much need of love that that your mommy didn't love you and you need Donald Trump to fill in the love that your mommy never gave you? Is that why you're wondering if Donald Trump likes black people or not? Seriously, like, is that what you need him to like tell you that he likes you for you to feel better about yourself? Well, if that's the case, then you shouldn't be trying to compete in this world, because don't nobody like you if you're really competing and taking something that they feel that they should have. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in a global economic competition. White folks are competing. They're not looking for you to like them. They're not looking to be your friend. They're looking to win. And that's what you got to do. You got to look to win. And at the end of the day, if you can make a deal with a Donald Trump that benefits you and benefits him, sometimes you can make better deals with your enemies than you can your friends. I was not a big fan of the Obama presidency in a lot of ways, because there wasn't nothing about that presidency that did anything for my self-esteem or my black pride. I don't consider acceptance by white people to be some sort of glorious achievement for black people. Seriously, all that happened, think about this. Most of the people we define to be successful black people ain't nothing but niggas that got picked by white folks to have a certain status. They got selected by white people. So why in the hell am I going to look at seriously, white people pick one black person and they say, you are the one that we select. And we're like, oh, Jesus, I've been waiting 100 years for this to happen, because I was nothing until this happened, until they picked one of us to have this important position. What is wrong with you? Seriously, what the hell's wrong with you? Seriously, I mean, don't you understand that many of the black people that get selected by white people are losers? They are losers. They're stupid. They're coons. They're corrupt. They got picked because if I'm white, I'm not going to pick a black person who's going to challenge me. I'm going to pick a black person who's going to do what I need them to do. I need niggas that follow directions. I don't want somebody who's going to be in there fighting the power. I'm never going to select a Marcus Garvey or whomever in order, if I'm a white person. Why in the hell would I do that? Why in the hell would I ever want to give power to a black person who wants to take my power away? Why would I ever do that? Only black person, if I'm white, only black person I ever give power to is going to be the one who says, yes, boss. And when I tell him what the fuck to do. Seriously. So I'm just telling you, you need to let that shit go. Stop it. Stop it. Who cares if Donald Trump likes you or doesn't like you? Doesn't matter. Who cares if white people voted some black guy into office? That doesn't matter. That's not black history. Black history was made by people like Marcus Garvey, who literally was one of the few black men who was able to compete against white folks. Like, he accumulated wealth. He had a plan. He had a vision. Marcus Garvey, that's why they don't talk about Marcus. That's why they don't give him nothing. They're like, ooh, he's a real threat. We're not going to talk about him in school. Let's find some coons. Let's find some mediocre Negroes and elevate them and get them to celebrate these mediocre Negroes so that we can generate more mediocre Negroes. Seriously, I'm not making fun of the people that they celebrate. I'm not making fun of Obama. I know some of y'all love that man, and I'm not going to take away your black Jesus. But seriously, just let it go. Seriously, stop it. Stop all the whole oh Lord, it's black history because a black man got voted in by a bunch of dumbass white people. They a bunch of white people decided to select a black man, and you think that's black history. That is not black history. That is literally some little girl saying that my sister is a highly accomplished woman because all the boys in the school had sex with her at the same time. They all wanted to have sex with her at the same time, and they gave her money, so I want to be just like her. She's so accomplished. No, she's not accomplished. She's a whore. Seriously, that's not an achievement. That's not something to brag about. And so I just really think that you got to understand that people who are your enemies, your natural born enemies, the people who are your natural born enemies, they're only going to like you and dig you and give you praise and applause if you're doing something that they want you to do. If you're doing something that doesn't threaten what they have, if you're doing something that empowers them and disempowers you, that's the only time your enemy is ever going to praise you. So when you see a black person getting really, really praised by white people, I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm not saying all of them are terrible people. But when you see a black person who's getting extensive praise from white folks, you need to look at that Negro twice. You need to watch his ass, because there's something ain't right. Something ain't right. Black people who are really fighting for black people don't get praised. They're not the ones who get the jobs. They're not the ones who get the promotions. They're not the ones who get, all the awards and the accolades. And it's backwards that you're trying to fight white supremacy and what white folks are doing to you while simultaneously seeking their approval. You can't fight your opponent and ask for his approval at the same time. That makes you look stupid. Like if I'm in an MMA fight and I'm about to fight somebody that wants to kick my ass, and I'm looking for him to tell me I'm a good person, or that I'm a good fighter, or that that I'm skilled, then that's gonna kind of create like a little bit of a conflict of interest, right? And and a vulnerability that he can actually exploit in order to control me. So I personally, had to learn that 90% of what we learned about what it means to be successful as a black person was a lie. 95% of everything you've ever learned about what it means to be black and successful is nothing but a lie. The most accomplished black people are the ones that are rejected by white supremacy. Hey, what's up, babe?
He's giving you a hug. I'm so ready.
Oh, well, give me a
I'm
hug.
ready to go.
Okay, well, I'm talking to my friends on Facebook Live.
Oh.
She loves me. That's why she giving me a kiss. Look at that.
Okay.
That's black love.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're about to go to China, so she's excited. I know I'm packed. See my stuff that I packed.
Oh gosh. Okay, I gotta catch up with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but well, are you done? Are they late? We gotta watch Better Call Saul.
It's the finale. We gotta watch it before we go.
I'm gonna make some ice cream, and we're gonna watch Better Call Saul.
I forgot about that. I'm not eating ice cream.
Oh, well, I'm doing a banana. Hey, yo, I'm gonna do a banana. Is she black? Somebody asked if you were black. What you think? What you think? Look, I am never. If I ever, I swear to God, if I ever show up and tell y'all I'm in love with Becky, which ain't gonna happen, I need y'all to just like, if you see me on the
Let me
street,
see.
just get a
I
running
don't
start and kick me
Is she
square in the nuts.
black? Oh no.
She's black. Yes, she's black. He knows you black. She from the hood.
I am from the hood. That's the thing.
Can you please show her, please? I don't know if I really like showing my loved ones on. They saw you once. There she is. So she high yellow. She high. Oh, he said I'm joking. Oh, someone said, "Oh, you actually have a woman." Damn, that's evil. I will have you know that I have been desired quite often in my life, but I was waiting for the right one. I found the right one. She's pretty though. Oh yeah, she was. I met at first, like literally, it was like love at first sight. Seriously, I met her a long, long time ago, and she was it was literally, I literally saw her across a crowded room, and I remember the very moment I saw her for the first time. I was 22 years old.
Oh, God.
Ooh boy. Ooh, buddy. Yeah, I remember that day. That was awesome.
You are too much.
The only reason I even talk about you, like I don't like talking about family and stuff online because you got too many crazy people out here.
Mhm.
But I talk about it because I kind of want like people to just kind of, I don't know. I feel like people should just kind of see more black love in motion, like real black love from real
Oh.
black people, and that's what I'm doing. It's like, it's weird. It's a little awkward. Normally I keep my private life private, but it's like, okay, I want especially the women to see a black man who is head over heels in love with a black woman. We don't see that. You don't see that in movies. You don't see that anywhere, right? So I just kind of, so that's why I kind of talk about it because I kind of feel like, yeah, I want, I want people, and maybe the brothers also know, like, if you got a great black woman that's around you, you got to exalt her, like tell everybody, give her props, tell everybody how great she is, because I think I feel bad. I feel like black women get insulted when all these celebrity men, are running off with these white chicks. And I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. And so that's kind of why I do it. But normally, I always feel a little bit. I blush a little bit whenever you're like on camera when we talk about you. But it's like, okay, let me make the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too. When your relationship is public, you get people that like you can't have no problems then, because then everybody's like, oh, that was all bullshit because you were just. That's the thing. That's why I always feel bad. I always worried about people that really made their relationship too public, because then you can't have normal issues or people start, saying whatever they're gonna say. So that's
Well, you
it.
sure thought it through, haven't you?
I have. I think everything through.
Aren't you a
that.
good thinker?
Well, I'm a professor. That's what
Well,
we
I
do.
am too.
Yes, you are. You're a very smart one.
And so are you.
I used to be her tutor in college. Somebody said I'm laying it on real thick. Yeah, I do. When it comes to her, I would lay it on as thick as I can. I ain't got no more thickness to lay on it. Now you, on the other hand.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Somebody said, "Oh, Boyce is in love." Shut up. All right. All right. So anyway, I'm about to go, guys. She is she perfect? Tina Knowles response. Is she perfect? To me, I think you're perfect because you're you. And I think that's what I was saying about the Tina Knowles thing is that,
Oh, she
the ability.
was.
Yeah, that was like I think the ability to love somebody unconditionally is really important. Like I think you can't love somebody and say, well, I like these things about you, but these are a bunch of things that I wish I could change, or then that makes you inferior. Like I think you have to find a way to even take the bad stuff and say, I just love you because you're you. That gives a person a very powerful uniqueness that you don't get all the time. Like I remember when I was young and I became like this eligible bachelor, because I was, making all this money and all this other stuff. And I was a professor and I was on the Wendy Williams show. And Wendy was trying to like hook me up on the air, like telling the women, like, she's like, so Dr. Watkins, what do you like in a woman? Blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing though. My problem was that, people don't understand. Sometimes women look at men like they're a piece of meat, where they're thinking like, okay, all right, so I'm gonna go on a date with you, but I need to know what your intentions are, and if this don't turn into marriage, then this was a waste of my time. And people think that that's normal, right? I don't think that's normal. Let me tell you why it's not normal. Because it's almost like a guy sitting down and being like, I took you out for steak and I hung out with you all day and I sat on the phone with you for hours. How come I ain't getting no ass? I should be getting pussy out of this deal.
Oh no.
Right. If men were to say something like that, we would say, "Oh, he's a pig. That's ridiculous. You don't love her as a person. You only want what she's got."
Well,
But a
gotta
lot
write
of
your intentions.
yeah,
What's your intention?
you do, but sometimes you don't know your intentions. Just
Well,
like
then you gotta say that.
no, no,
I
right,
don't know
right,
what my intentions
right,
are.
right, right. And I think, but the thing is, like I've heard that. I've heard women say like, I wasted so many months with him. I wasted so many
Oh.
years with him. And maybe he didn't know. Maybe he was feeling you out. Maybe he was trying to decide if you might be the one, and then he decides that you're not, and you somehow accuse him of wasting your time. Well, that takes away the uniqueness. That makes you feel like, okay, you don't really like me for me. You just want me because I can help you check a box. I help you have your wedding day, and you can say you're married to Dr. Boyce Watkins or whatever. Right? And so I think that in our case, what I really liked about our relationship is that you told me the most important words you ever said. It was, I love you for who you are. Even before we dated, she said that. She said, a woman who's with you, we used to be friends for a long time. And she said, a woman who's with you is going to have to love you for who you are. And I was like, yeah, that's so true. And then later on, we end up together, and it was like, that's what you did. You were like, I love even the bad stuff about you. I just love it because it's you. What that does is that makes you feel special and unique, like you can't be easily replaced. But if somebody can easily replace you, then can you really say that they really, really love you? Or can you say like, okay, you're just filling in a void, right? So I think that's really important for people. So I think that that's what it is. I think you have to be able to kind of find a way to just look at somebody who ain't perfect and say, you are you and nobody else can be you. And that gives you a uniqueness that nobody else can have, you know? And I don't think a lot of people do that. That's just my 2 cents.
Oh, look at you.
Yep. Yep.
Well said, Boyce.
Thank you. And the reason I also talk about relationship stuff is because you can't build, it's hard to build wealth without being able to build relationships. But most wealth is built through marriages and family and all that, and keeping your family together. Actually, the average divorcee's wealth level drops by about 70%. And also, the lowest net worth in America is the single black mother. Her median net worth of a single black mother, do you know what it is? The median net worth of a single black mother in America is $5. For white women, it's like 40,000. For black women, it's $5.
Net worth. What do you mean by net worth?
Net worth is assets minus liabilities. What you own minus what you owe. Oh, Chris is calling from
Chris?
Long Beach. Yeah, yeah.
Does she know? She probably saw you on here.
She might have. She might have.
Oh.
We should give her a call. I don't
Yeah.
want to China. Anyway, okay. Cardi B, Offset are a cute couple too. That's funny. Okay, guys, I'm about to get out of here. So if you want to join my stock market class and get a free 30-day trial, feel free to give it a try. You can go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. So feel free to check it out, and you can kick the tires, and we have great customer service. So if you're not happy for any reason, we have a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. So feel free to go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Shaka Zulu says Boyce is a sucker for love. Well, I'm a sucker for this love. But if you'll notice, I did have a relationship for about 4 years before this one. Notice I wasn't talking about that relationship very much, now was I? But I'm not trying to diss nobody. I'm just telling y'all the facts. When you know she's the one, it's a little bit different. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Have a good day. Be good. Peace.